Today I am taking you for a look around Ireland's oldest fixed theme park. Now today here in Portrush on the North Antrim coast in Northern Ireland, you can see this is called Kerry's, but for most of those 100 years this place was known famously in this area as Barry's. Everybody who came from this place, not just County Antrim but right across Northern Ireland, was always very proud of Barry's. It was the one and only getaway for many families to come somewhere local and have a good time with the family when, let's be honest, times weren't always good in Northern Ireland. Now, disaster struck a few years ago when this place was closed down during the COVID pandemic, and the owners sold it, and it looked like that Barry's, having been sold to a property developer, was going to become flats or apartments or be knocked down altogether or turned into some kind of seaside open front apartments. But the Kerry's family, who operated a theme park, another old Irish theme park in Galway since the 1940s, actually saved Barry's. They bought this place over, and not only did they save Barry's and restore it back to its former glory, they've spent a little bit of money in bringing this place up to scratch again, but they've retained a lot of that classic seaside charm that Barry's was known for. So today we'll go for a little peek around the oldest theme park in Ireland, Kerry's, formerly Barry's, here in Portrush. What's in there?
On the horses.
In the horses? There's horses in there.
And are we going to get a big lollipop? What are you going to get? What colour? Oh, in there.
Oh, we're going to find out.
There.
So years ago they used to do the famous Barry's coins. Now they have these paper tokens you can buy, but similar kind of deal, £1 per token, buy 20, get 5 free. There's a couple of old arcade games that look like they've been here since, well, maybe not the 1920s or 30s, but these don't look too modern, but in a way, again, they fit the kind of the theme of that sort of vintage classic arcade, and they still only cost 10p to play. Right, so we're not ready for the ghost train? No. Right, we're not going on the ghost train, but it is a Barry's classic. This is one of these ones that has been here for as long as I remember this place being here, but we're not going on it, are we? It's a big no-no for the ghost train, and actually, to be fair, the ghost train in Barry's or Kerry's is so bad you nearly need to go on it just for that, but obviously if you're 3 years old, it's a whole different world once you go in there. If you've ever been on the Blackpool Pleasure Beach ghost train, it's pretty much a smaller version of that. Oh no! No?
She's a silly fellow.
Would you not like that? No. We're at the Slush station, where among other things you can get all different kinds of flavoured Portrush rock, including fizzy cola, Skittles, Humbug Rock and blue raspberry. Wow! What's that? What do I think? And one of the good things, not just that they've brought this place back to life again and restored and actually reinvested a lot in this place down in Portrush, but they've also actually opened it up longer than ever before. Previously, Barry's would have been fairly seasonal. It would have been open around Easter for a few days, and then again that would be it to just the summer, the kids' summer holidays in Northern Ireland, which were typically June, July, August. It would kind of open that time, but it's now March, St. Patrick's Day. This is actually the first day of operation here at Barry's again, and this will now be open, albeit maybe just on a reduced schedule, weekends, etc., right through, not just the summer actually, but until September. So a lot more opportunity for Irish families to come down here, visit this place than there ever was during the other almost 100 years of operation. She says to me, get in the teacups with her, the size of the teacups. She says, oh, that man's in it, that man's in it. Yeah, that man's about the size of my left leg. So there's lots of rides for toddlers, lots for bigger teens as well. And there's also this little arcade prize section off to the side. And again, this has always been here, so you'll see a lot of these consoles are rather vintage, to say the least. They've been around for a long time. And again, as I said, sort of adds to the charm of this place a little bit. It's all fairly cheap. They've got a wee machine here where you get a prize every time. And they've got the 10p change stations there. They've got all the sort of classic little seaside games that you would expect in this section. And of course you can collect your tokens from some of these games as you go along. And up here there's a prize station where you can hand them in after you've spent probably £30 for something that costs £2. Out the back they also have this other area with another 4 or 5 attractions in it, including their one and only water ride behind me. Now, of course, it's just open today. It's March, it's still very cold, so that's not open yet, but that's the site of the famous Barry's Big Dipper, which was kind of the staple, the landmark ride of Barry's for so many years. It fell into disrepair during COVID, and when Curry's took this place over, they got rid of the Big Dipper. A little bit controversial, but they were forgiven because they were keeping this place alive in Portrush, and they replaced it with this big water ride instead. You can see the proximity to the gorgeous Portrush beach just over that fence, and the Atlantic Ocean right there. So obviously on the one beautiful day we get a year, this is quite a place to be, a proper classic little seaside theme park, old school amusement park at the sea. You can see back here though, there's a lot of storage going on. As I say, the season's just started. I'm not sure if all these sort of pallets and looks like bits of maybe old theme park rides lying back here are always here, but they've got these stored out the back for now. And there actually is people down on the beach. You can just see over the fence. It's hard to believe that years ago, when you were a kid, nothing excited you more than going on one of these attractions such as the Waltzer. Nowadays, I can't think of anything worse or more vomit-inducing than half the stuff they have in here, and that's just the half that I can probably still fit in. They've got one of these classic caterpillar rides here. Of course, you see these all over the place, but one of the things I love about these rides is the only sort of thing doing any kind of mechanical work is this little stretch of track here with the chain that brings the caterpillar up onto the height, and then the rest of it's just motion at play. So that's the only actual bit of work that's happening. And it goes round a few times, but there's no other wheels, there's no other contraptions anywhere along the track. It's just gravity doing all the hard work here. Well, yeah, it is bitterly freezing out today. I'm not used actually have ever been in this place when it's so cold, because as I mentioned earlier, it's not usually open in March, or historically it never was, so you certainly feel the cold out here. So we're going to go back inside, aren't we? Are we cold? Yeah. We're going to go back to the inside. So we said earlier we'd try to bypass the little token area so we don't end up spending a load of money on pointless tokens for pointless prizes. And now this one has put £10 into 20 botched attempts at winning a teddy bear or a doll or whatever that is that's clearly only worth £2.
It's not the point.
Give it up, give it up. And inside the venue they have a couple of places to eat. This is probably the main place, Wee Cafe, Skylar's Cafe. Again, more in the way of candy, just about out of reach. Not another one surely. And they've got cold drinks, and that's the hot food menu as well. This is probably the last remaining kind of really famous attraction from Barry's, going way back to probably, well, before my time. Let's go back that far. The Helter Skelter right here. Now, whether or not that's the same Helter Skelter or even a part of the original Helter Skelter, I'd very much doubt it, but it is still the Helter Skelter, and it's been exactly in that position for, let's say, the guts of 80 or 90 years. And we're back out the very front, and the first thing you'll see when you come here is this sort of auditorium that they've built out here. It hosts shows and performers during some of the better days in Portrush. They'll have music down here as well. Adds a bit of the atmosphere and ambience. Today you can see the little woman's just happy, running around and mucking about. Right over here is the old Portrush train station. Well, I say it's old because it is old. It's an old building. But it's still in operation. It's the end of the line actually here at this part of the north coast, and you can still get trains right across the Irish rail network right up here to Portrush, and you can see how close it is to the amusement arcade and the attractions, and of course just over here is the town centre. So bus links I'm not so sure about, but certainly if you fancy a day trip on a train from anywhere in Northern Ireland or Ireland, Portrush is reachable right there, and that's the station. And of course, for those who aren't familiar with Portrush, there's so much more to this place than the amusement park, although that is one of the most famous attractions just due to the length of time it's been here in this area. But there's a whole host of other things that people come here for: the golf, the golden strands, the beach. It's very rare that you'll get beaches that good. You have to come to the north coast of Ireland for a lot of those really wonderful beaches, and Portrush and Portstewart just round the corner are certainly two of the best. Over here they've got some mini golf for the kids behind me, and there's also another little kind of pop-up fairground they have over here, but it's just separate from Kerry's that they have during the summer. That'll open up. It's not open now. As I say, it's right at the start of the season in Portrush, but it's a beautiful little coastal scenic town, and of course it's just miles from the famous Giant's Causeway. There's lots of caravans up the road as well. People will stay here, and it's kind of an hour and a half from Belfast and about an hour from Derry along the north coast. So much to do in Portrush, and it's certainly a place where families, and my family in the past, have been able to come and spend days, weeks down here on the seaside. Weather doesn't always play ball, and today is no exception. It's a cold March day right at the start of the season, but yeah, Portrush is always a good call, not just for the arcades and the amusements and the things like that. Really nice town centre too, lots of nice places to eat, lots of good shops also. So that's a look inside Ireland's oldest remaining theme park amusement attraction, Barry's, now Kerry's, here in Portrush on the north coast in Northern Ireland. And of course, people who go back many years will remember their dancing days down here in the 40s and 50s. Barry's, and just where this site is, also had a huge ballroom where big bands played and drawed crowds from all over Ireland for waltzes. It was very famous for that down here. There's also rumours that ghost train in there is actually really haunted. Lots of stories of staff workers over the years saying that they've spotted strange goings on in the inside of that ghost train attraction. So a lot of really quirky history down here in this building.
What's your favourite?
Jumping astronaut.
Ooh.
The jumping astronaut?
Yeah.
That's the one at the start, like the jumping
That
frog
was
thing?
scary.
That one.
Oh, that one there, the one that goes up and down, the free fall kind of one.
Ooh.
I'll get you ready for Tower of Terror.
It's freezing.
Yeah. Okay, it's cold. We're going to
Say
go.
bye-bye.
What do we say at the end of the video?
Like and subscribe
What?
to
What do you
my
say?
channel.
Like,
And subscribe.
like, and subscribe for more videos
Say bye.
just like this one.